We have morning, we have noon, we have afternoon, we have evening. We have good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Where is good noon? Hello everybody, I'm Martin Gebenji, aka Daddy Mato, and welcome to TTTT Extra. And with me I have
Cindy Ogana. Good noon to everyone.
At Nick Quach, good mid-morning to everyone.
By the way,
Good noon.
Where is good noon?
It's afternoon.
But we have afternoon.
Because noon is barely a second.
Yes.
So
Noon is not even a thing.
It
I
still
don't even know
exists.
what's
It's
noon.
just after 12, it's afternoon, isn't it?
Yeah, because 11:59 is not noon.
Yes, it's still
And
morning.
It's still morning.
12:01 is not noon either.
Yeah.
So
So
noon
it's
is just 1 second.
12:00.
Yeah.
12:00. So you don't need a name for
It's
So
the
it-
middle child.
so it can't be good.
it. Nah.
Ask
not
any
long
middle
enough to
child,
sample
it's
an
never a good
emotion.
thing.
All right, so let's quickly get into what we will be talking about today.
Yeah.
So, an interesting topic here covered by the Nairobi News. Traditionally, going on a date has been associated with romantic pursuits or outings with friends. But today's young adults, aka Gen Zs, are breaking the mold by choosing to spend quality time with themselves.
Right.
So, what's behind this trend and why are solo dates becoming so popular among the Gen Zs?
Quatch.
As the Gen Z representative
I'm sorry.
of this
I'm
I'm
crowd,
not in that demographic. I am not in that
We are
demographic.
all not in that demographic.
Hey,
No,
Quach,
that's
it
fine.
must
It
be
is
nice
an-
to be young.
It is unfortunate to the Gen Zs as well that they are going to be taken over soon as well.
Yeah.
Hivi wenye wanaona sisi tukiwa wazee ni hivyo pia
venye boomers tu walijiona
walijio-
millennials wakaingia.
Back to Quatch, because kuna kitu I'm headed to. Quatch, why do you go on so many solo dates? Uko na mtu.
Listen. We have been taught that self-inspection, self-retrospection, the self. I think Gen Zs are big on self.
Yes.
And that's why we find Gen Zs can't take things that are harmful to their mental health.
So
they can't take... That's one.
So Gen Zs are selfish.
No.
Self-oriented. Selfish is not...
So they are selfish.
No, they're selfish, not selfish. No, but also as well, there's something I've always insisted, and I keep telling my friends. I think bad relationships are over-advertised.
Yeah.
I think you people who are in good marriages, please speak up. Please tell the young people
Mato,
that
No.
if you are in a good
We ban or
marriage
we don't ban
or
it.
in a good relationship, please tell us so that then we can know that good marriages exist out there.
Right.
Quatch.
Because I believe the rate of divorce is very low compared to the surviving marriages.
Actually not. The rate of divorce
Yeah.
among us millennials and
Yeah.
even baby boomers is very high.
Yeah.
I think there's been so much emphasis because I'm looking at Gen Zs, the people I work with,
Yeah.
the interns.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at, their psychology and stuff. They have grown up and seen so many toxic things happen in relationships. Not only their parents, their aunties, their neighbors, to the point where they're like, if this is it, I don't want it.
Yeah.
And then they're also very self-assured.
Yes.
I remember back in the day having a self-day. What is that? I think I took myself to the spa when I was in my 30s, to be honest. Just goes to show you how old I am.
Yeah.
It's just not something that I felt I needed. We were brought up with the song. So many vijana, munakumbuka hiyo?
Yes.
Muongeze pia bidii. Go wake up, dig, struggle, toil. There was never any chance of self. But them, they've grown up in a very cushy environment, They don't believe in struggling.
Allow me to throw a spanner in the works.
Yeah.
Would the problem be access to information or knowledge? Is the reason why we have people we have the Gen Zs making such decisions? Because, during our times, there are such things, hatukuwa tukijua, quote unquote, tukijua. So
Because TV was controlled 12 to midnight.
Exactly.
12, I think, to 7 or something. I can't
exactly,
remember.
could that be the problem?
I think there are two things. I want to attach both what you're saying and what Cindy is saying. That when we were growing, there was not that big promotion of self.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even amongst the adults.
Yeah.
The promotion was
always
outward.
about
It was never
It
inward.
was never inward. It
Yeah.
was never
Always
about
outward.
think
Take
about
care
yourself.
of your family and all that stuff.
No. It was about take care of everyone else.
Yes.
Right.
Then
Yes.
everyone else will take care of you in
Yes.
turn.
Yep,
Exactly.
yep.
it's good you've touched on that point. I'll come back to it. But
yes,
go on.
in return. And then now as well, it's the same thing that I'm saying. The development in technology, now coming to your question, is the development in technology, it has led to. It has led to promotion of the alternative. You know, when we were growing with the ideal values. You're being taught that when you get to after Form 4, you get married, you get a child, you start a family, you build a house, you build a career.
It was always
about
connecting.
the ideal things.
Getting connections.
Yeah.
But now, the more we get connected to the rest of the world,
Yeah.
we realize that the people who are not in relationship are actually so many.
Yeah.
And
they are
so many of
happier.
them are very successful. So many of them are even the role models that we are looking up to.
Absolutely.
So that then, what that leads to is, it leads to people being provided with options. So now you can choose to go into this life of marriage and children and career and death, or you can choose this other one of think about yourself, think about what you want to do, think about...
Quach has just told us that options are bad.
Sometimes options are bad. I'm telling you the truth. Sometimes options... Because now, sometimes I look at these days and I think we were struggling long time ago to be able to choose our partners for ourselves.
Right.
Look at what we did with that option. Look at where we are now with that option. We've gotten to the option where now being with myself is the third option.
Yeah.
There's the parents' choice.
What
my
is
choice.
your option, Quatch? Now that we're on that topic, what is your option? Everyone knows I'm Cindy Ogana Rogoi.
Yes.
You know, we all know Mato's wife. You know,
Let me tell you.
and his three boys.
Cindy has brought this fight on air.
On air, it was a very long fight we had.
Why, Jay?
let me tell you, Cindy, as a person, this is Quatch as a person, I believe that marriage is a very serious and important institution in the life of any society.
Absolutely.
And 90% of the times we have seen things going wrong with the society, I'm sorry to say it, but these are people who are not raised in proper structured families.
Exactly.
And that is why I believe this is not something people should joke with.
Yes.
You should not go into a marriage as a joke.
It's true.
You should not go into a marriage as something that if wacha niangalie venye inaenda, the way we go into relationships,
Yes.
that ikienda vibaya I can jump out.
You can
Unaoga
just walk
unarudi
off.
soko.
Yes,
Yeah.
unaoga unarudi soko. Because then children's lives are being brought into this, and that's why we're
True.
seeing so many single families out there. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with single families.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that if people took the thing of making a choice of who you want to be with in a marriage very seriously, as it should be taken. One thing I understand with both of you,
Yes.
Mato, what age were you when you got married?
I first got married when I was 25.
And then?
And then when I was 30.
And then when you were 30,
Yes.
Cindy?
I got married when I was 35.
Yeah.
But I was a single mom when I was 26.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you realize that both of you got married at the stage of life where you had experience.
Some
The
sort of
marriages
self-actualization, yes,
some sort
that's
of
true.
You're in the marriages you're in now got you when you were in a place of yourself. The
Yes.
self is already taken care
Mato
of.
after
Yes.
character development.
Mato, you need to tell another story siku moja kitu ilifanyika. So I'm telling
Cindy
you,
was
Cindy,
there wiping my
that,
tears.
That Mimi, I am in that place where you were after the single child. So now that's where I am. That soon and really as a person I take this thing very seriously. And after I had my first child, what is in my mind is I do not want to make that mistake again.
You don't
Now,
want to have
sorry.
2 children. You don't want to
I-
have
I-
2
I-
baby mamas.
I don't want Quatch to go down, this rabbit hole, but I want to weave it back
Yes.
with this.
Yes.
So we have Gen Zs who've decided to be by themselves,
Right.
which I feel is a consequence of overconnection. I feel it's a consequence of
By
overconnection
overconnection,
because
you mean what?
there is overconnection digitally. Quatch, you'll stay for almost 2 or 3 years without seeing me, without saying
Yeah.
hi to me. But the day you meet me on the street, you'll be like, oh, it's like I saw you yesterday.
Yeah,
Yet
I've
you
seen
just
you every
saw
single
me creating content online. So it's the illusion of a connection. And it's replacing physical connections that were present during, our times when
Well,
we
that
did not
makes
have
sense.
the digital connection.
Yes.
So there is always need to have connection.
Yeah.
It's
But now
almost like,
when
can
you...
I say I think I can say this on TTT Extra. It's almost like the effect of porn.
Yes.
You have so much engagement with a person
Yes.
without having any engagement at all.
Yes.
Exactly. Exactly. So because
Very
it's
interesting
innate.
example, Quad.
It's innate. He knows something. So it's innate It's
Yeah.
innate in the human, in human sociology to
Yeah.
connect.
Yes.
Okay, so when you feel that over connection, you
Yeah.
thrust yourself in spaces where you're by yourself. Do you know, I can actually I can't say authoritatively, but I can conclude that it is this over connection that in turn leads people to retreat, and this retreating is what is ruining marriages.
Yeah.
Because
what you mean.
people, you
Yeah.
see, kids were being raised by the community.
Yes.
Yeah.
People's problems were being handled by communities.
community, yeah.
But do you know the number of people who have problems in their marriages and they keep it to themselves? They don't even go to the extent of talking to uncles or aunties, not even mothers or fathers.
Yeah.
Mothers and fathers will always want people to come back together. Ongeeni munaweza sort hizi mambo.
Yeah.
Siku hizi mama yako anaingilia relationship yako na kwa zile za wacha ikae hii ni yangu.
And you know, Matu, the problems millennials went through, the toxicity millennials went through as they were being raised, led to now us promoting our children to have the sense of self. When
Because they're like, I don't want that.
yes, don't.
This
do
is
not-
what
do
I-
not-
I know
do
what
not
I
go
don't want.
through- Yes,
Yeah.
I don't want what, and the alternative is not even any better as well. That now I've always wondered. Maybe you married people, you can tell me how the society keeps preaching independence, and yet the essence of marriage is dependence.
But
That's
but
a
you see,
tough one.
this is the thing. There will always be a need for the opposite.
Yeah.
Especially in our very commercialized world.
Yes.
There will always be a need for the opposite. Always. Like, we'll have everybody, the government will want everybody married, but we'll still need single people who don't have dependents so
Yeah.
they can go and do other jobs that
Yeah.
people who are married cannot. You know, there will always be need for that. But going back to Gen Z's choosing to go on these solo dates, is it because they really love themselves?
Yeah.
Or is it because they are running away from connections?
I also think
Tukimalizia.
they're worried. Tukimalizia. But I also think they're worried that there is no marriage material.
But
If
what
you-
is marriage
Let me tell
material?
you. Let me
If you
tell
look at somebody, I'm sorry, Aki, today I'm on Quach's case. If you look at someone like Quach, you're not Gen Z, you're millennial.
yeah.
If we go the classic way of dating somebody younger, then
Yeah.
you're marrying somebody in Gen Z.
Yeah.
Would you marry somebody in Gen Z?
I would. And because across generations, there are good people and bad people, and there are people who believe and those who don't. But the example I wanted to give is, this is like what happened in Japan after the Hiroshima and Nagasaki attacks.
Yeah.
That eventually, when the result of marriage is something bad, the toxicity, people shy away. Now
yeah.
the Japanese government is
It's
encouraging
struggling 'cause
people
guys are
emphasizing
not-
to
people
have connections,
'cause
because
they are-
people do not want to engage.
Their population is
Absolutely.
dwindling.
Exactly.
Their population is dwindling.
Yeah.
So Gen Zs, please don't let the Kenyan population dwindle just because you've decided self-love is the way to go. Thank you very much for joining us on TTTT Extra. It's been an amazing topic. And of course, make sure to join us for more each and every other time. But you can log on and watch at whatever time, whether it's midnight, noon, evening, or
good
morning.
noon.
Good noon. Otherwise, Simkai Poa.